chat now available. I couldn't see the chat before. There's for us there too. Oakley that we just Claudia to Raul. Thank you so much everyone for joining us today for another session of the Toronto Meetup group. Today we have a very special session with Vivek, who is also a member of our organizing team. And Vivek is the leader of the user group in Toronto for Power Platform, and he also organizes along with Vivek, along with Ashraf, the Power Platform Meetup group. He's an MVP for Power Platform, has spoken in many different places around the world, and has many years of experience building solutions, not only with Power BI, but also the entire Power Platform. But he will be the best person to talk about that. But before that, let's just do some housekeeping here. So for those who are new attending our sessions, these sessions are happening at the moment around twice a month. We started a little bit over a year ago. And at the beginning, we were meeting in person here in Toronto, but then after the COVID pandemic started, we started to run the sessions online. And the interesting thing about that is that now we can attend, let's say like that, or provide content to a much broader audience, because anyone in the world can join us as long as they have the time to do so, and they have the internet connection and the time is convenient. After the session, we always send the recording as well, the link for the video recording, so that people, for those who cannot attend but still register, they can watch the video recording after the session. You can, if you are not used to Teams, when you hover your mouse around the bottom of your screen, or if you are on your mobile device, you should see a few icons. Like we have this little hand here that will indicate that someone that you want to ask a question or make a comment. You can use that one. You can turn off your video and microphone after we start the presentation, because that helps us with video connection, the internet connection speed. And there's also another icon that is appear from my slide here that is like a speech balloon. You can go there and type in your questions, your comments, and chat with other participants there. About our next sessions, in fact, the first one that is in here right at the top is London's meetup group organized by Alan Murray. I believe he's here. And the reason why I have this session here is because Paul Kelly will be presenting there, and then he will be presenting with the Toronto Meetup group. And Paul Kelly will be talking about Office scripts. And these two sessions will complement, they will complete each other. So the first session is more like an introduction session about the concept and the tools available and all that, what Office scripts are in Excel. And then the second session will be, Paul will be creating an add-in with Office script. So it's for those who are interested in learning about this topic, it might be useful to attend both sessions. And then August, the title of the presentation is not determined yet, but we will have Danielle Fairhurst with us. She's a financial modeler, so most likely, and I can see that she joined the meeting there. I believe she's here with us today. Thank you, Danielle. Most likely her presentation will be around that topic, but we haven't finalized, we haven't decided that yet. And then in September, we have George Mount coming to talk about statistics in Excel. That's one of his favorite topics, and there's a lot of interesting things for everybody to learn. It most likely in August we will have one session only, so that everybody can take a little bit of rest before going back to school season and all that. One last note: there are a few events going on. Some are free, others are very affordable, and I just put these two links here, and I can put them in the chat. This one is an event online that will last 2 days with many sessions, both in Excel and Power BI topics. And it costs only $33 that goes towards charity. So it might be, it might be interesting for some of you. If you can take advantage, I do recommend that, because it's a very nice price. We are contributing for charity, and content will be awesome, I'm sure. And I'm also posting this blog post here that from Datel Productions, where I think it was posted today or yesterday, and has a summary of different things going on, events about Excel that you can take advantage of, courses during the summer. So I'll put that in the comments. Yeah, in the comments, in the chat area. Okay.
Celia, this is Dick. I think an important thing that you might have missed in your comments, and everybody's alluding to, is the fact that you should be congratulated on just being selected as an MVP, and everybody's congratulating you on the comments.
I have that in my slide also.
There you go. So everybody's applauding right now in the background.
Thank you. It's not something to do a lot of fuss about it. Who has someone has a mic there, and I'm listening to an echo. Anyways, yeah, I'm happy for that. The interesting thing about it is that the recognition has a lot to do with the work that I do here with the Meetup group, allowing Excel to reach people through these free sessions. So it's not just about me, because I'm not doing this alone. I have Dick and Vivek helping with organizing the events, and I also have all the speakers who come every session and offer their time and offer their knowledge. And each session, whoever has presented before knows that each session takes a lot of effort to put together. We need to research, we need to put the content together, we need to build a presentation or prepare the materials. So I just have to thank everybody for coming and joining us, and collaborating, and joining us in the chat and cheering for each other. And I'm just happy to be able to continue to do this as long as it is useful for someone out there. Thank you anyways for the congratulations, but yeah, it's something, I will do this anyways. It's not, that was not the goal, but it's nice to have that recognition, and I'll do my best to put the award to the service of the community. Okay, enough of that.
And we have other MVPs also with us during this meeting. Tony, Alan is there, and also Paula. So congratulations to all of you.
Also got awarded MVP for Office apps. She does work in Excel as well. She did a tremendous work with a charity event for COVID that ran a few months ago. So it's a teamwork, in fact. Just stopping my presentation here. Everybody does a little bit, and in the end, all of us benefit from here, from that. Some of us, they like to write blog posts or create videos. Others, other people organize events and bring all the knowledge together, and that's how we move on. Okay, Vivek, thank you so much for being with us today, and I'm excited to hear about what you have to share with us. Please let us know what are you up to these days and what are you bringing for us today?
Well, I am right now having 2 sleep every day. So I'll talk about later it because I run a business in Canada and also I have a development center in India. So most of the time presenting at different user group, preparing presentation on Power BI or maybe Excel, some of the conferences. Also helping with some of the project that we initiated. It's in US, a big corporation mostly on Power Platform, but also on different technology, Oracle, SAP, Dynamics, Azure side and all. So I'll talk a little bit about it as we go. So I'm going to start presentation. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining today. I hope there are lots of MVP and I won't get too much hammered, but I'll try to do my best to present integration between Power BI and Excel and what options are available. As an Excel user, how can you start using not only best of Power BI, Excel, but also how do you leverage the Power BI services so that you don't have to change your world around Power BI, but be in Excel and be productive. So there are some tips and tricks that you can start using. I'll be presenting on that. Some of the key takeaway is how you can boost your business analytics using Excel in Power BI. So this was my slide, but it was
you can move forward.
Yeah, it started. So again, I'm going to move forward because you have been working in this Excel world for so long, and thank you so much for organizing this type of event where users can get knowledge and expert can share their knowledge. So you are middle point who connect expert to the members. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Session objective will be integration between Power BI and Excel. We'll be also touching a little bit upon Office ecosystem as well, how you can be more productive and use Excel. So, and also how you can share existing report in Excel within the organization. I'm open to idea during presentation. I selected only few topics. When you start talking, I can talk about 8 hours on Excel, which I'm presenting in Nashville in October at Power Summit. Full day session is on Excel and Power BI integration, 8 hours. But here I selected only few points that I thought will be good use of time within 1 hour. A little bit about myself. I started Insight2Action in Canada a few years back, around 4 years back, and now I work also with Stritely Solution. It's a company registered in Atlanta in US, and we have offices in the next slide. I'll talk about that. A little bit about myself. This is 4th year in a row. I'm Microsoft MVP, mainly on data platform side, also a leader of Power BI. Now you can say that Power Platform user group, and I've been working a lot on Power App side recently, and also a recipient of All-Star Award from Microsoft. Been very active in community around the world when we have a Microsoft conference, and trying my best to deliver content which is latest and greatest to the user. Little bit about my company, Stritely Solution. Now development center is in Ahmedabad in India. We are SAP partners, Microsoft certified gold partner, and also ISO certification. We work in different technology. I'm going to skip through this because this is more of a sales speech, but our topic is mainly on Excel. So I'm going to skip through it, some of our capability, what we work in. And some of the industry that we already worked is on the right-hand side. Manufacturing is heavy most of the time. most of the application is around Power App, Power BI, and Excel driven. Let's move into topic. What we are going to discuss. So, some of the content that MVP and other expert prepare, I picked what is good out of that. So we start with industrial age where it was more books and everything was accessible, and our knowledge was mainly delivered via books, and we didn't have technology what we are using right now. Over the period of time, because of feeding and literacy culture, it took off the industrial revolution, and then data literacy started around 2003 to 2004, where business insight was required, like how to get business insight from the data was required. That's when the data culture was created, and this time Excel was the king, and still the Excel is a king. I do not complain about Excel because I use day in, day out, and most of the data that after you get insight when they want to do further analysis, it's always Excel that comes to our help. So data culture, after the data culture was created, this is some of the insight from Gartner and Keystone strategy, that 80% of the 18% of the company that use data effectively have a higher gross margin than those they don't. This is something 2 years back. And also there was a projection by Gartner that 80% of the enterprise reporting will be based on modern BI analytics. When we talk about modern BI analytics, I'm talking about modern Excel and modern Power BI technology, which with the combined with the Office 365 ecosystem can give you a lot of automation and a lot of ease of use. Duplication is redundant now because you are able to share single version of truth or single file with multiple people. So you don't have to send through email and there is a manipulation by somebody which is presented back to you with the skewed result. Those type of problems are now gone because now we have a technology that we can share the content which is curated by you and managed by you, and it's not skewed. So, and that's how the customer wants to gain the business and make better decision based on data. What is the life cycle of the modern BI normally when we talk about when we get a data, whether it is in Excel or whether it is in Power BI, get data, analyze, then visualize, and then we share content with our users. So that's how we collaborate. That's the normal life cycle of Power BI. Now, and Excel. Now, where Power BI and Excel comes together is some of the Office 365, which provides us collaboration, Power BI, which is connected to Excel. So you have Excel report, you can publish, and you'll be seeing a lot of demos on that. Also, you can not only, it's one-way actually integration, it is two-way. Excel can come to the Power BI or Power BI can come back to Excel. There are some scenarios which if you start using, there is an immediate business benefit. If I give a broad prospect on what is the integration, what type of integration is possible between Power BI and Excel. So we will see scenarios where we have an Excel file, and without doing anything, we can import it back. So I created data model in Excel. I created Power Pivot model. I created query. How do I, if I want to move it to Power BI, do I need to create everything again? No, there is a tool available. There is integration available where you can take your entire data model and create a Power BI file. Also from services, you have option to analyze in Excel, so you can bring back your data model which was created by somebody in IT in Power BI services. You can bring it back to online, so there is a single version of truth. We'll be looking at those demos as well. And stop me anytime, Celia, if there is some question which is critical at this point. But I'll keep going and we'll come back to this slide when we are ready to do demo.
Sounds good. So far, I haven't seen any questions yet.
Perfect. So some of the business content, if I move on, the process when we are creating dashboards, what are the dynamics involved? So you have multiple systems. In IT, there are some companies which I work with, they have 2,700 databases. Now, when you are trying to create a report, with Excel as a Power Query within Excel or in Power BI as a Power Query, you are able to extract those information. You are able to create a dynamic reporting system, and you are also able to collaborate and present your result using Excel. Some of the common pain points when it comes to Excel or the old way of doing reporting is it's not scalable. So you may have a report where you have used VLOOKUP function, you have used a complex formula, but when it comes to like a huge amount of data, there are limitations because Excel can handle only so many data. But if you use a Power Query in Excel, you can compress those data. So Vertipect engine in Power BI can compress your file size to extent which is in that term it is possible to consume by Excel. Also error prone. So what if you created report which is linked to other file and somebody deleted? You are not the owner, somebody deleted. Boom, everything gone. Also, the dynamics within Office 365 when you are connecting, it's unpredictable. If some formula, some value, somebody added column, there are always options to mitigate that, but there are chances for error. So what we are going to talk today about is a typical planning process when you are creating, when you are integrating Excel with your reporting ecosystem. There are some typical planning process that we are going to walk through, and we'll be doing demo on that as well. In this case, Excel to improve operation process, which we are going to talk about. When I start here, every time when you are creating Excel with the Power Query, this is where you have your transformation engine, you're massaging your data. So you have on left-hand side data coming from different cubes or different data mart, production planning, demand planning, material planning. With Power Query, you will be able to do demand forecast based on all those data sources and massage the data. And then comes the combining. So Power Pivot, when I'm talking about Power Query and combining data, similar options are available in Power BI as well. So I'm talking about both processes, either you are creating Power BI or Excel report. And then we'll be talking about share insight with the Power BI. So I automated everything process in Excel, and how do I take it back and share with others? So we'll be going through those process very quickly. We'll start with first process where it is material planning. So say I have an email that I'm receiving from different people with the file. Now, if my analysis stays within Excel, then I'll be doing disconnected report. I'll be adding report, and then new report comes again, I'll be changing the formula. So many times in this cases, the data could be skewed and it could be even missed. Somebody forgot to upload data and it is not up to date. So we will be automating data preparation throughout our demo. And there are some video, because I always keep some video. So if my demo doesn't work, this I can show you here. But basically it is you can run a background query using Power Query, and I'm going to just skip through quickly. Where is my mouse? Okay, here. So the typical way of doing Power Query is, this is Power BI screenshot, but you can get data, similar experiences in Power BI, transform, combine, and share. And little bit about experience. So get data from either from SharePoint folder or Excel. You have different connectors available. Not able to skip through my next slide, and that's not good. I need to stop. Okay, I need to escape because I'm not able to move to the next slide, and I want to go a little bit. Okay. Next step is combining data. So material plan, now you are getting different files. So I have month 1, month 2, different month file. If I'm receiving, how do I automate that and combine with Power BI? That's what we are going to discuss. You'll be preparing data in Power Pivot. You will be able to create a relationship. This is where we are creating data model. And then those fields we can consume in a pivot table. I don't need to explain this because you're more expert in Excel. So I'm just going through the step that we'll be doing. And combining, let us go to next. And third one is where we'll be connecting to Power BI. So let us jump into our report and demo, because this session is mainly demo heavy session. I'll skip through this very quickly so that I can combine. Okay. And the demo flow. This is our going to be our demo flow. So we have a different, in a SharePoint, we'll be creating different file. We'll be creating SharePoint team and using the file system. Consider this as a month, January, February, March, April. Somebody in our team will be uploading file. We'll be combining data using Power Query and then creating model in Power Pivot, and then moving that data to Excel and designing report in Power BI and bringing this report back to the team environment. So completely automated process where somebody in my team uploads, it automatically refreshes the data model, it automatically picks up the new file, and my Power BI report, which everybody is using, is visible to the entire team. Okay, so let us just stop here and let us start demo. First one is this is my team environment. I have created, this is actually a SharePoint library where I shared this particular team environment with my team members, created one folder where I have 3 different months files, so 5, 6, and 8-month file. Then I'm going to delete this so that I can do the demo. Yes. And move. So I have 5, 6, and 7, 3 months data here. I also have outside month 8. So when we are creating solution, we'll start with Excel and then move into Power BI. Let us start first demo where I already have created, just focusing on the amount of time we have. I already created solution. Go to my team. And let us create one Power BI Excel file. So this is, I'll start with combining very quickly. Integration between SharePoint and Excel. First option I have here, when I go to data, I want to automate when somebody add new file, automatically Power BI picks up. So let me go here and from folder, from SharePoint folder. Now, if you have a data set in SharePoint, you can bring it back to the Excel. And how do you do that? Is you go to wherever you have a file, open in SharePoint. So I'm going to open it here in SharePoint. And testing your site URL, leave everything out, just take the site URL up to site URL. So in this case, it is testing site. I copied that very quickly. I need to put. And then I'm going to use my login. So I have to use cancel. I'm going to close because I saved it once.
It is about the permissions, right?
Yes. Okay, let me do one thing. It is a data source. Data source setting and
So it's all about a matter of permissions management, right? And that's one of the.
I clicked it wrong. So now it should be okay.
And that's a point, a good point also to mention for those who are not aware. When we are dealing with, so let's not distract Vivek now.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, so when we are dealing with files on SharePoint, OneDrive, Microsoft has put a lot of effort in making sure that only people who have the right permissions have access to the information on those files.
Okay, so I'm good now. So when you access the site, it will pull all the files that are there. So we are not going to combine right now. We are going to go to transform, and you need to filter out the folders that you are trying to access. So in this case, if you go here, combine is the folder I'm trying to access. I can just go and filter on that, and now we will have only 3 files that we are interested. And I'm going to remove others. Now you'll be saying why I'm showing this in Power BI to Excel, but we are going to use this file. So I'm just going to.
Quarterly fund account settlement, something like that, basically is looking through the asset and liability movement, whether the quarter supposed to reinsure need to inject money or take out money. to make sure that's comfort the risk
I'm
transfer.
trying to mute.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Now when I click here, what it does is it will create another query into it, which will combine all the files and give you one data set that is all together. So it will basically append the file. And in this case, what it is asking me is what transformation you want to use. So I'm going to select sample file at the first file, and I'm going to go into table 2, and I want to pull this data. So I'm good with that. I'm going to click OK.
While we're waiting, if you want to type in the chat, if you are very familiar with Power Query or not, just so that we have an idea of who is attending. And we are planning to have, I've received a few requests to get Power Query in more sessions. That's a very hot topic, so let us know. Go ahead, Vivek. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm just taking the,
No problem.
the silent moments.
So I already prepare in Excel. I'm going to close here. I don't want to load it to there, but I want to add it to data model. When you add to data model, this is going to play a key role. That's the reason I'm just taking simple file and doing data model transformation. And when I go to my data model, now you loaded those that sales table into data model. I have created a combined file. Now, just for fun, I'm going to add one of the measures also. So I did auto sum here, which is total sales. Let us change name to total sales and enter. And now, being an Excel user, I'm going to create a pivot table out of this. So just a simple pivot table from your data model in existing location. Let us just create here and OK. So now whatever data I pulled from SharePoint is available here. Also total sales is available. I'm simply going to do year, which I want to put it in there, then month, and total sales in a value. Also, I want to do one more transformation here. So I go back to data model and exactly same thing. I'm going to create two chart, and in existing one, I'm going to put it here, right beside it. And in the first one, I don't need a second one, but I'm going to do same thing here. Month and total sales. Perfect. So it is simple. I don't want to do any fancy thing. Now you will say you may have a very fancy Excel workbook that you created. Do I need to move to Power BI? No. If you have a very nice, most of the financial statement and all is good in Excel, do I need to create a Power BI model? No. Now we are going to go to integration between Power BI and Excel. I have a simple report. I have a feature, and let's remove the grid line so it looks good and move a little bit closer. So I have some report like this. In Excel, now you have a new option, and this option is only if you have your Excel, which is after 2016 version. So now you have an option in Excel, which is publish. When you have Excel and when you publish, there are two options here. One is upload your workbook to Power BI. What it does is it moves as it is. So your Excel, it is like Excel online in Power BI. Let us do that demo. Oh, I need to save it. Yes. So let me save it somewhere in my file, and let us put it here. So more options there, and demo. Okay, I'll enable content, and now when I go and publish, I'm going to publish it to TBI Toronto. So you have in Power BI, you have different workspaces. I can publish to any of the workspace directly from Excel. So I upload this. I already did that. And okay, let me close it and reopen because it doesn't publish fail. Save as, browse. Okay, it's saved. Let me close this. Move this here. Okay, finally it should work. Now it is saved. Publish. Upload. So at the bottom, if you see, it is publishing right now.
And is this Power BI desktop or?
Right now we are in Excel, but we are going to, I publish it to Power BI services. Desktop,
Oh,
you can,
okay.
we have few options in desktop, we'll be looking at that. So it published to Power BI service.
Okay.
Now, if you see here, whatever I did in Excel, I can consume in Power BI. I don't need to create in Power BI. Now I can also share with the people from here, and whatever changes you make, it will be visible right away over there. Because say I'm going to copy here and put next to that one, and instead of month, now I'm just going to put year, and let's save and go back and reload. It takes a little bit time, but whatever you did over there, let me publish it again.
There it is. Yeah, it was there.
It was there? No.
I saw it. I saw this.
Yeah, it takes a little bit time, but now you can actually, whatever changes you make here will be visible there. So you can share, you can keep your existing content into into Excel, and then so it is republishing. And it's exactly same report. So if I go to my workspace, okay, it will come back, believe me. It is just taking a little bit time because it is saving. So this is one option. You don't need to recreate everything. You can use Excel and your users can interact also and filter also. So all the interaction which is within your Excel can stay here. You can also change the query. So if you want to add something additional one, you can make a changes here and your user will be able to see and they will be able to interact. This doesn't mean that they are changing on your file, but they are interacting. There is another option. If I go here and go to file and publish, this is another option. The difference between the first one and this one is when you upload, your experience is like Excel online. When you export, your data model is converted to Power BI. So let us see that experience. It is publishing right now. And when you do that, the difference is, see here, all the measures and all the data you pull, now it is converted to Power BI. Now it is not Excel, which we had this experience. So you have interaction. If you want to create your data model is ready and your manager is telling, hey, I want to move from Excel to Power BI, you don't need to do a lot of work. You just export and your report is ready, all the transformation and everything. Now it's available and you can put it in auto refresh and everything. So that was two options available for you to move Excel to Power BI or move entire model to Power BI. Exactly same option if you want to see experience is available directly from the Power BI as well. So I'll show you both options. I have a local file, say I want to go to file, which is here, and say, this is my demo file. If I click on that, exactly same option is there. So you can do both way. Either you can start from Excel and push it, or you can start from service and pull the data. And those are upload is the same, import is converted to Power BI model. So there are two difference and both are possible. Okay, the other option, let us explore option on how do I move my data model or move my queries between Excel and Power BI. So somebody gave you very good Power BI report. I don't want to recreate, I'm Excel lover. I don't want to recreate everything what that person did. I just want to start using. How do you do that? So I have a Power BI file here and I open a new Excel file. So I have brand new Excel file here. I'm going to put it side by side. Okay, so I created a Power BI report here. I have a get, I don't want to get data. Cancel. And I have query design into Power BI. This is exactly same query what we design in Excel. It is in Power BI. Now somebody has done very nice work. In my case, it is simple, but in your case, there may be 11, 12 different queries. I don't want to recreate everything in Excel, but I want to use in Excel. What do you do is just, you can go to Power BI report, go to transform. So here transform data, which will open up the window in Power Query in Power BI side, and then select everything, copy back to Excel, go to connections, and just paste it. So everything what somebody did in Power BI, you can just copy paste all the queries into Excel and start using. My data is loading right now. It is going to the same data source. And if you see here, it created output for me. And now you can start building your report in Excel from here. Same way, if you have a query in here and you want to copy, go back, and just for fun's sake, you can go to Excel. From Excel to Power BI, you can take it as well. I'm just showing some tricks so that you don't have to do hard work. If somebody did work, you can just make use of it. So I'm in query here. And I'll click on transform, and from here I can just paste it, and all those Excel query you can bring it back to Power BI. Now, next integration, which is very interesting option. I'm going to not now close that. Many times when we are doing analysis, we are always looking for data. So if somebody told me that, hey, it is in a particular database and in this table it is there, I'll go and extract that information in Excel. If other person in another division, if they have a different data set which somebody created, I'll go and pull from there. Then I'll try to analyze. You may have a definition for KPI different in one business than another business. So this creates a lot of confusion. And actually, this is one of the organization I'm working with. They have different definition across the company. Somebody says 10 days is late for the material to be delivered. Somebody says 7. And now when you try to compare, one person will have a good result because their definition is different. So what you can do in an organization, if you have a golden data source where IT-driven repository is there, they can publish the curated data set to Power BI services. So when I say data set is, they can publish it here. So if I go to the workspace, so they can publish a data set here, and all the content here, what you're seeing, wherever you have IT spend analysis or this icon, database icon, those are the data set. I'm not doing any transformation. My IT verified that this data is automatically going to be pumped to the Power BI services, and it is authenticated. I know the result is accurate. I can trust that data set. And now they publish it to the users. What is the benefit? Because one, trust. Another thing is, if I have to create a query from that database, I don't need to worry about ever failing or ever having a wrong information. How you can make use of Excel and IT in combination, where you have trusted data source, how you can combine self-service analytics within Excel to those verified data sets. So just to give you example, if you have a modern Excel version, I have multiple options to do that. Now, if you go to insert and pivot table, you have a different option here, not only pivot table, but pivot table from Power BI. So my IT published those data set. I can just click here and it gives me a lot of option here, but I'm going to go to demo, which we just published. Okay, it is right here. The first one, 9 minutes ago, we published. Consider this is IT data set and it is trusted. So I'm going to click on here. And now I don't need to worry about this is my golden data source. I can do anything or any analysis from that golden data source I want to do. I can put it here or maybe this one will go. This is the measure I created. So IT can create even measure over there, which I can consume directly. And then I can put month as a slicer. And I can bring those data set into Excel. I can create a pivot chart, whatever I want, I can do here. So this integration will allow you to connect directly. This is another option where if you are in IT and you want to make sure your user trusts your data, you can use this technique. Another one option here is, say I have a food mart, this solution I have data set which is available to me in Power BI services. I want to bring it back and analyze in Excel, which is similar to what we did. You have option 3 dot when you click, I can bring this data back. It creates the query Excel file. I'm going to open that and enables. This is the same way how you export the SharePoint list. It gives you a signal. But now entire thing, I have so many tables within that. I can just, this is my golden data. I cannot change the data source, but I can do my self-service analytics on top of that. So you don't need to worry about data source at all, whether it is right or wrong. It is available and I can just start doing my analysis. So in your finance area, if there is one person who works on data source, there may be 100 people, they can just use it. All the measures created, everything you can start using it. So it is a powerful feature which is available within Excel, that you can combine Power BI services as a data source. So now this is like your data mart, not SQL Server, not any other system, but it is within Power BI. You created data mart which your user can pull it, and you don't need to worry about, you don't need to give them SQL access, nothing, because this is aggregated data. If you give them access to the table which is not aggregated, they will create a Power Query which will have a lot of load on your database. Instead of that, you can give this. There is much more easier option, right? So this is the feature that analyze in Excel. Also, I have one link if you want, because this feature is not available to me right now. That's why I put a link, which is another very good option. So what you can do is, if you have a data set in Power BI published to the Power BI services, now when you go, and let me zoom in so that I can show, now when you go to data, you have a data type option. And under that, if your organization or somebody in admin side, if they enable the data type, so say I have, just giving example, I have 50 different companies. I have company ID, but all the metadata with that company, their location, their address, everything. If I publish that, anybody in the organization, there is no confusion. They can go to data type and click on customer. So this is approved. You don't need to guess. Anytime new customer is added, one person add, an entire organization, automatically it will update. So you can also curate those data and make it available to your user. Now there is a limitation. Why I said I don't have it. This option is available to E5 and some. I have document I already have in my presentation this link, but you might have use data type where you can pull stock and other metadata can come. Same way you can use a Power BI to use this data set. How do you do that? Let me quickly show it to you if I have it open Power BI. Okay, I will open another sample. And this is a very, very powerful feature. How many of you already use a data type option which is in data? So I'll just you can
because
put
you
it
don't have, you need to put something in there.
Yes. So how do you enable how do you create that data type? So if you have a data model and say in this case, I want to make sure and I want to create, let us see what table is good. Age, simple table. Okay, so you must have, first criteria is you must have a unique value in ID. So this is a good table to convert. I'm just going to go, the way you can do it is, where is age? Here. And I already turned it on. So let me turn off. And when you turn on, it will ask you description for this data set. So that is where in Excel, how it will appear here. When we saw this one, work data, this is how it will appear. So that's what you set it up. And then what row you want to bring it. So in this case, bucket, that, and age. So this is unique ID, key column. And just save. Now when you publish it, this data set will be considered as, there are a few other steps you can look at it, how you can set it up. But now by curating this data, you are making a lot of people life much more easier because it's IT manager or somebody who is taking care of one place. So that was another thing which I couldn't show because there is maybe if I search for okay, licensing. So only available for Excel E5 and G5 customer, just to keep in mind. Some of you may have it, so you can start using it.
That's great.
Next one is import Excel data model. Now, remember at the beginning I was telling I have a very good Excel file, so let us take some complex files. I can show you. Let us take this one. It is opening right now.
Can we take the moment to ask some? I think Tanya
This is
may
my
have a question.
demo.
Oh, okay. So
This
then we
is
can
my last demo.
go
So
to the questions right after. Okay.
yes. So say I did very heavy work. I created so many queries. I have a model which is created. I query here. I have data model 1 second, why it is not allowing? Okay, I have data model and all the measures and everything created here. See here, all the measures in different tables I have created. Now I did all this hard work, and now I want to move it to Power BI. How do you do that? Very easy. I'm going to close here and use this blank. No, let me create a new one because it open on my other monitor. So I did all those hard work, and now I want to move everything to Power BI. You have an option in when you open a Power BI option here and import. But if you have a template, those are okay. But I want to bring the Power Query, Power Pivot, and Power View. When you click on that, it will ask you which file you want to pull. This is the file we opened just now. So I want to bring that entire model. It will give you warning that we don't work directly with Excel workbook, blah, blah, blah. You can click on that. Now what it is doing is it is going to that Excel. And if you see here, there are queries. So those are the query imported. Do you want to copy data and keep connection? The difference between copy data is it will disconnect from your query. So all your queries, the original source will be disconnected and it will be imported. All the data will be imported. There won't be any connection. But I want to keep connection. So in case you want to keep everything, I want to keep connection. And voila. All see here on the right side, I'm going to close this. Right side, all the measures you created, everything is ready. See all those hard work, what you did in Excel, all the measures are available. Now you can, everything, data model, Power Query, everything you converted to Power BI. So that easy, and we can also quickly go and check here. If I go to data source, because I didn't authenticate, so that's why it is not because this you need to authenticate once. But that's ready. Yeah, basically that's all. For my demo, I didn't see any questions. So if you want to ask, I can reply. Let me open my question here. Anything in particular?
Tanya had her hand raised. I'm not sure if she wanted to ask something. Let us know, Tanya, if that's the case.
No, it's all okay.
Okay, there was a lot of conversation going on here on the chat, different things related. People even, they started commenting on the possibility of integrating Power Automate as well. Someone was asking if at the very first example you created, if the importation would make more sense with Power Automate instead of Power Query. Someone else responded that Power Automate is not designed for data transformation, although we can automate some data transfer from what is your comment on that?
So there is a different use case scenario. When I prepare my actually presentation, which I'm preparing for Nashville, I actually had a the Power Automate slide added. So in this one, I was not going to show because it was mainly Excel and Power BI. That's the reason I didn't show. Otherwise, this was my column. So if you see the same one, Power Automate will work with certain cases. Power Automate is made for automating the tasks, not for manipulation and all. So it's a different use case. So I will give you example. You have a team environment, and in a team environment, there is a shift application which you can assign. You can create a shift, and your users can go back and uh, they can say that, okay, I'll be available for this shift, something like that. And you want to get notification, then you can create a table in Excel. So every time there is a change, you can create a new record. But Power Automate is just for that, taking from one area, moving into another area. It cannot be used for transformation. There are some advanced scenarios where we add additional information. We can have a formula created, but I don't recommend using Power Automate for any manipulation, because Power Query is so powerful. Another thing is the compression engine. It's so powerful in Power Query. Highly recommend use Power Query. Only use Power Automate for something you want to trigger, somewhere something happened and you want to do something. That's all. So as you can see, it starts with trigger and then what do you want to do? All those things. So it's a different use case scenario and out of scope for here. Exactly same presentation. I'm adding Power Automate, Power App, and all those with Excel, because my topic there is Excel and our Power Platform. So, yeah.
Another question, Shirley Lee, she's asking, is there advantage in creating measures and calculations in Power BI over Excel?
Can you repeat? Sorry.
And I had a similar question too. What are the similarities and differences in creating a model, data model, measures, all that, using Power Query to do that in Excel or in Power BI? Do you see any advantages or disadvantages in one of them compared to the other one?
So there are not, in terms of a function wise and all, there are not many difference, but Power BI has few additional formulas that you can use compared to Excel.
Formulas in M code or DAX or both?
I'm talking about DAX. And
okay.
Even the transformation wise, when you M language, there are little bit difference, but both are almost par with it.
Are you aware of any difference in performance between Power Query in Excel and Power Query in Power BI?
Both
for the same
Power Query, both use same engine, Vertex engine. So I hardly find, in terms of performance wise, I hardly find any difference.
Okay.
And there are tools available that you can. Dex Studio is there. Those you can use to check the performance also. Most of the time, I don't have issues.
Okay. Which tools do you
Dex
use?
Studio is there. SQL Profiler. There are multiple tools available, and if you see, there is a SQL BI. I use that. I use Dex Studio right in Excel, so I can analyze my model. Excel performance, if there are any issues and all, you can analyze that. Not on the performance engine, but both side, like a memory side and also your CPU.
Any other questions? Everybody's so quiet. Now, Monkey Tools for us is also referring to another tool available for to analyze Power Query performance or queries performance. Raim, question 1. A dashboard has been created in Excel using Power Query and Power Pivot. let me just, now a user wants to share with different heads of departments with
Yeah.
respect to their business domain. How to give them only their business dashboard view in Excel. Any suggestion? And then he also, he also says, as far as in Power BI, we can upload it on cloud account and apply role/row level security.
Yeah, RLS will not work. Row level security will not work if it is a data model is in Excel, created in Excel, and you're uploading. So if you want to keep it within Excel, like how we did publish to the Power BI services, it is the file. Basically, it is a Excel online only in Power BI. So you won't be able to use RLS on top of your data model because you're moving Excel. But if you're using, if you're doing import and converting it to Power BI, then you'll be able to use. Similar way, what our last demo was, you can convert entire model, but not Excel. Excel you won't be able to do.
Okay. I may have missed because I was keeping one of the eyes and sometimes the two of them on the chat. Did you also show one connector that now is available in some of the Excel versions? That's so in data, get data, and then there's a connector that says from Power BI. Did you show that one too?
Yes, that's actually name only change. So when I was showing it to you, before that, it was one tab, which was a Power BI tab. Now
okay.
you have, this is exactly, sorry, not that. This is exactly same thing.
Oh, there it
From
is.
Power
Yeah.
BI.
Okay.
You just
Yeah.
change the location, but it's exactly same thing.
It's from the pivot table and not the get
Yeah,
data.
and
Okay.
you have same option. So if you go here, get data, see from Power BI data set. So it's a different
Exactly.
places it is available. It's exactly same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know there were so many options for interaction between Excel and Power BI in both ways. I haven't done anything with Power BI, anything significant, so I haven't come across with these scenarios yet. So it's very interesting to see, and even that possibility of publishing in Excel online and give the possibility to users to modify the pivot tables through their contentment and interact. It's very nice, I believe, even because some people feel very comfortable with Excel and like their pivot tables and put things the way they want to see it. So I think maybe a very nice option in some situations.
Yeah, and the one I showed in Excel when I showed that you can bring it from Power BI. You can also connect directly from Power BI desktop to your Power BI service. Same way how you are able to pull in Excel, same way you are able to do that in Power BI as well. How to refresh the Power Query only if the file is modified. Can you for us unmute and ask that question, because I want to know a little bit more.
Hi Vivek, thank you so much. It's a great session going on. Really got to learn new things. The question is, when you have an Excel file, and if I update some entry in that file, I need the Power Query to refresh only if the file is modified, so that it can push less load when refreshing.
Okay, so you want you can use that trigger. You can use
Is the,
flow for that. You can the last modified date, because if you do some modification and save it, Flow can do that. It can compare from, or every 5 minutes Flow can check whether it is updated, and then you can trigger Excel or Power BI with some code to refresh that data set. It is possible.
So that will be through with the flow, right?
Yeah.
But with the standard with the M, we cannot do it, right now.
No, not with AM because that's in transformation.
Okay. By the way, there is actually connector which is missing for Excel for the Power Query.
Mhm.
That is refreshing the Power Query. So I have just posted that question. So that's the idea. So if you guys can vote it, that would be great.
Perfect. Will do. Actually, this discussion is all over our platform area.
Yeah.
Based on last refresh and all, there are certain possibility with some of the tools, ALM and all. It is
Mm-hmm.
possible to refresh based on.
Super. Thanks, Vivek.
Still to come.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Raim is saying that when the data is big, Excel still takes a lot of time to open, and also in calculations using Power Query and Power Pivot.
Yes.
Any speed up optimization tips? He's asking.
Yeah, so when you're developing where the data source is, it depends upon that. So if normally what I do is, if you can aggregate data view, create a view and aggregate data on source side, I normally use that if it is possible. If not that, then what happens is sometimes you are pulling from text file and all those areas. There is a very few tips and tricks for optimization. But what I do is say I'm pulling 1,000 file and reading those files. It takes time because every time I make a change, it takes time and update. Normally, I use a subset of that data. So maybe start with 25 files or design everything and then put additional filters. So say, I don't want to refresh anything which was, I don't want to refresh anything which was not updated in last 5 days. So segregating those things, having using import mode. So only certain file you update based on their refresh date. If I have 1,000, maybe 500 of them, nothing changed. Why do you need to refresh? So segregating those data will help you speed up the refresh speed. And then you can compare, you can merge both and remove the duplicate and compare, saying how many files I need to update. I think I have done in a past similar thing where I had large amount of data. I have no control. I have no control over aggregation. Then I use a refresh date or update date, whatever is available.
Okay. What else?
Nothing. I hope it was informative session. I have few slides that I want to show at the end. So
go ahead.
Data quality, I'm going to skip through some of those because I'll be providing you. But if being Excel lover, I have some links that can guide you. This is on Power BI side, but some of the Excel blog and social media. Also join the Excel community today. And a few information, so my contact and my information.
Will you be sharing those slides with us, the ones with the links and?
Yeah.
Okay.
It will be everything will. Some of this I didn't cover, so if you go those slides I didn't cover, but I'll include. It will be like helpful if you go through it. Maybe you can reuse it. So.
Yeah, so I'll send, when I send, it usually takes me a couple of days to be able to post the video and send the link. And at that time, we will send the files as well.
Sure.
Thank you, Raim. I know it's late for you. Raim,
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for attending session.
If you want to take your presentation out, then maybe some other people can join us on the video. If you want to,
you have power, you can kick me out.
I have the power. I don't want to kick you out. I could start the presentation, right?
Yeah, I stopped my presentation. So yeah, I'll be here for a few more minutes. Celia, I think you are mute. I cannot hear you. I still cannot hear you. Is it only me or?
No, we can't hear you, Celia. You are muted.
No, Celia is muted.
I think she can't hear us.
Yeah.
Maybe you can. Celia, we can't hear you. Yep, now we can.
Can you speak? No, not still. Maybe
I think maybe she's connected on other teams, you know.
Okay. So yeah, now it is open. If somebody want to unmute and talk.
We're just waiting for Celia to talk first.
Yeah, I'm waiting too. Let's see. Maybe Celia, change your input output. Maybe that will help.
Some funny person is muting me, I think.
Okay,
can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
I don't think anybody would have that right.
I don't know. I was not doing anything, and I would unmute, and then it would go muted again. I don't know.
I'm sure no, I don't think that's possible.
Anyways, I hope the session was useful for you. For me, it was. Thank you, Vivek, for sharing all that fun stuff with us and your time. Everybody is cameras off. Feel free to turn on your cameras if you want to join us for a little while, and then we will end the sessions in just a few minutes. There was a nice conversation going on here on the chat. People even talked about the 64 versions and VBA and Office scripts and Power Automate and all that together.
Yeah, Power Automate, like when I talk about when I go and present, I normally talk about a Power Platform with Excel as a whole, because that gives overall perspective how we can move around and all. I have different integration with Excel from different application in Office ecosystem. So normally presentation is more focused on Excel and Power BI, and then the last session is divided into Power App, and that's another interesting topic, Power App. And
yeah, we had a presentation just before. It was our last in-person session with John McDougall. He presented about Power Apps and Automate and Excel, and it was very interesting. But we don't have that session recorded, unfortunately. We should bring him again to talk about that.
And every time when I join our meetup and when they are discussing, I learn many new tips and tricks because everybody has different exposure to Excel and the problem they face in their organization. So it's always fun to interact. Just
And
by looking at uh, many years of Excel crunching and all data crunching, uh, you know, every time you have a pain, then you find an innovative solution. Okay, let me work on something I can automate. That's how like Power Query, I was edit Power Query edit lots of M code and all I explored. And started with something which was Silverline and the
Power View before, right?
Power View and all, yeah. So just in case I didn't mention that time, but if you have a Power View report created, when you remember the last demo when I showed, if you bring that in Power BI, automatically those Power View report will be created as a page in Power BI.
Nice. Okay, everybody's so quiet. So I guess it's time to wrap up, and for us it will be time for supper and get some rest. Other people, it's late in the night. Someone else, Danielle, I don't know if she's still around. For her, it would be early in the morning. That's what it's so interesting. Any other questions? Any comments? I'll give it one.
Yeah, so for us it's saying 2 a.m. For us, I'll be sleeping now, and normally my evening meeting starts with my development center around 2 a.m. So 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. is normally, so I sleep 2 times.
I'm hungry for learning, so I can come anytime.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, for us.
Vivek,
It's a lot of effort.
you have a nice version update.
Sorry?
You have a nice version update.
About?
You remove your beard.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I transform actually. My Power Query works so well. So it transformed me from no beard, no mustache to full beard and then
So,
slowly trimming and back to now normal.
it's a new connector.
clean,
COVID
clean,
connector.
clean data, gold data. Uh,
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know it's a good effort from you and other people on the other side of the world. I've tried doing that. Sometimes I also do presentations very early in the morning. In fact, I did one today, but it was on Teams, 6 a.m. in the morning. I was presenting. So for Dubai, I believe, and Brazil. So, anyways, it's signs of the modern world where we are connected to everybody and people in all over the world, and then we need to adjust with these types of new behaviors. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Vivek, again. Very informative session. We had a lot of people coming in. We had a nice conversation in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, for participating in the chat. Well, feel free to share your feedback that will appear maybe on your email or on the app, Meetup app. Share your feedback. Feel free to share the Meetup with other people that you think may benefit from these sessions. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vivek. And I guess it's time to stop the recording and finish the meeting here. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.